All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us again today for our school health update. Today is April 1st, 2026, April Fools, exactly. Um, I wanted to also let anybody know, please, if you are new or if you are returning, please put your information with your name, your title, and either school where you're from or organization. That'd be most helpful for us. So we're going to have a very good agenda today. Let me go to that slide next. Again, my name is John Banuelos. I am the school health liaison here for the Youth and Schools Community Team. So we're going to start off with some announcements. We do have our EPI update. Then our going to have programs going to be presented today. We have best practices for bullying prevention. We have a member of the Youth Health Action Team, and then also we have the organization Text Talk Act, excuse me. They'll be presenting there on last presentation, as well as questions and answers at the very end of the presentations. Also, if you do have a question, you can also put that in the chat there. All right, we're going to go through here. Announcement, please also subscribe to our monthly newsletter for any announcements, resources, and more. You could click right there on the hyperlink, Pima County Health Department School Health Update newsletter sign up, and you will get that in your inbox each month. All right, so we do have our first program, epidemiology. We have Megan Randall is going to be presenting. Hi, Megan.
Hi, John. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Excellent. I will be providing a respiratory update that covers COVID-19, RSV, and influenza. Next slide, please. So here we have our respiratory RSV in our presentation for week 11, which includes March 15th through the 21st. As we can see here, RSV is still high. However, it is on the decline. During week 11, we saw 46% less than usual, and that's that dark solid line. That's our 5-season average. However, we can see that dotted pink line is last season's data, and we can see it's just shifted over. So we had a delay start just like last season. Again, this population is primarily made up of 1 to 4-year-olds that are most affected of RSV, obtaining 33% of all cases. And then the next highest group is that 15 to 64-year-olds. That week was 56 cases that were reported. It's not a whole lot, but it's still pretty high comparatively throughout the season. Next slide, please. Next, we have here influenza. Again, same time frame, March 15th through the 21st. We see influenza is also on the decline. Again, same parameters. The dotted pink line is last season, and that solid dark line is the 5-year average. In total, we've had 3,665 confirmed cases of influenza. It is above the 5-year average of 26%. Again, this population is affecting the highest at 34% of all flu cases of that ages 5 to 17-year-olds. Again, last week there was only 84 cases, which is lower than the week before. So we are seeing that decline. Next slide, please. Here we have COVID-19, again, same week, also very low. As we can see, that large black solid line is the 5-year average, which includes our pandemic. So these numbers, we kind of had to chop it off so that it can fit all into one screen. Next season, we do anticipate seeing that 5-year average go down. Last season, we are still below, is that pink line, that pink dotted line. Pima County has this whole season has seen 2,148 confirmed cases. Now, the definitions of what's reportable from the 5-year season to this season is vastly different. So we are not counting those at-home test kits, and some antigen cards that are available to the public are not included in these numbers. These numbers are only hospital numbers or done at doctor's offices. So we do see them low. COVID is still out there. It is affecting age groups of 65 and older, but we still like to report out in this school's call that it's still out in the community. Next slide, please. Here we can see a comparison between all three respiratory diseases that we monitor. We can see predominantly influenza is out there, followed by RSV, and then we see COVID. We also see all three of them on the decline. Happy news, since the season is starting to wrap down of respiratory season, but we still need to take precautions. Next slide, please. Again, this is just a reminder, if you don't have this, it is what is reportable for schools. The link for yourself is down below that you can click on. Even if you have a case or questions that are outside this scope, we are still available for resources and guidance if you need it. Feel free to reach out to us, and then we'll let you know what's reportable, what's not, and that we are still definitely available to assist the school if any situation comes. Next slide, please. During our respiratory season, we have great resources, and so do the CDC. This is available in multiple languages. I've just provided English for this presentation. It's a Cover Your Cough poster that you can download and print and have it posted around your school, as well as when to wash your hands. There also is a how to wash your hands. There's different posters for that. That's age appropriate, that you can decide what works for your school and what doesn't. These are great resources to have, and they are for free. Next slide. And in between meetings, I know we only meet once a month, but these are resources that you can utilize outside these meetings. There is a app, Healthy Kids Arizona, that you can download on your phone or device. If you don't want to choose that, it's a similar option, but it's a PDF flip chart for diseases that you can download for your computer. We also have data that's available from the state as well as Pima County on respiratory. All the data that you saw me present previously is always uploaded on Pima's website every week. We also have access to vaccination information, traditional vaccines, as well as respiratory vaccines and what the recommendations are. There is a link to Pima County's reporting. So we have a gastrointestinal outbreak portal, as well as the COVID and other outbreak portal that you can go ahead and securely report to us, or you can always give us a call or email us with that information down below. And I believe that is my last slide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan, for that wonderful presentation. And again, everybody, you can click on those links there on those slides and get the information for you. All right, we're going to go on to our next presenter. It's going to be Tiana Silver. She's coming from our Maternal Child Health Program. Tiana, are you on?
Hello. Can you guys
Great.
hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Tiana, and I will be talking about the best practices for bullying prevention. It is our job as adults because we play a critical role in bullying prevention, not only as we create safe spaces for the youth, but also by us being able to recognize what bullying is and being able to appropriately respond when we do see it occur. Next slide, please. So today we have some presentation objectives. We will be first defining what bullying is, understanding the community effects of bullying, recognizing the youth at risk, implementing best practices to prevent bullying, and then finally I'll give you some resources as well. Next slide, please. So just to start off, we want to give you some numbers. So according to the Arizona Youth Survey in 2024, there was 29.3% of youth were bullied on school property. And then next. And 21.7% of youth were cyberbullied. And then go to the next slide. So there is a need for us to recognize what bullying is. And we're basically now going to be defining what that is exactly. So according to the CDC, bullying is defined as any unwanted aggressive behavior by another youth or a group of youths. It involves an observed or perceived power imbalance and is repeated multiple times or is highly likely to be repeated. Bullying may inflict harm or distress on the victim, including physical, psychological, social, or educational harm. And then you can go to the next slide, please. cyberbullying is an expansion of that bullying more into that cyberspace, where Stop Bullying defines it as bullying that takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, and tablets. It can occur through SMS text and apps or social media, forums, or gaming where people can view, participate in, or share content. So by those definitions, we're now going to basically be characterizing some major signs to really look out for when we're looking at bullying. You go to the next slide, please. So the four big signs is a power imbalance of power, repetitive, intentional, and witnesses. You can hit that so we can get a little. So a power imbalance, what I mean is it's physical. So whether that's the size or the strength of a bully, the social, so being able to manipulate or coerce others. And then again, digital, having that technical skill or social networks that the victim might not have. Hit next. Repetitive. So this is experience bullying over and over again, just as the word says. When we look at digital spaces, this is being sharing like a defamatory text or photo and just having it circulate throughout a group. Again, like we say, when posted on the internet, it will remain on the internet. Can you hit that next one for me, please? Intentional. So intentional is when the bully specifically willingly targets a victim by causing the victim to behave, say, or do things they usually would not be doing. And then again, if you can hit that for me, it's witness. So bullying is a public act of aggression, with many bullying experts believing that the act is perpetrated for the bystanders or witnesses. And so now that we know what bullying is and how we define it, kind of looking into why it matters. So there is a community effect that is observed when bullying occurs within the school. Hit that next slide for me. So bullying impact. So well, you see there's a decrease in academic performance. If you can hit this forward button. Bullying can lead to decreased academic performance and school avoidance, not only within the victim, but also within the student body of those who observe the bullying. There is an increase in depression or other mental health issues, with an increase in not only stress and anxiety, but also in low self-esteem. And bullying, additionally, well, it does not actually cause suicide. It is a risk factor that can lead to suicidal behaviors, ideation, and lifelong mental health issues. One study found that 23.4% of all female youth have contemplated suicide, and of that female youth group, 45.1% were bullied. And then finally, another community impact is there's higher risk of sexual violence. So youth who have been exposed to bullying have a higher risk of sexual violence with an intimate partner within their life, not just from experience bullying, but also witnessing it. Bullying affects everyone involved. So I like to reiterate that it does affect everyone involved, whether you're the victim, the bully, or a witness and bystander, with a lot of these feelings of guilt, fear, and helplessness spreading across the student body. Next slide, please. And now that we understand that, let's take a closer look at the population at risk, who we should be looking out for. Slide, please. So recognizing bullying. So the youths are really, we should be kind of focusing on a little bit more, are youth who have weak social skills. You can hit that button for me, please. So youth who have trouble expressing their emotions in inappropriate context or settings, youth who have extreme emotions, or youth who have difficult time empathizing with others, youth who have weak social connections, so having a harder time soliciting support from their peers or other adults, and youth who are not valued by their peers, so their skills or talents, contributions aren't seen as important by either their peers or by the adults. So by bullies will target those youth because because the bystanders will feel less likely to be harmed personally by their victimization. And oh, sorry, go back. And then finally, we have youth that are non-conforming. So youth who do not conform to the dominant culture, whether that's identity expression, race, ethnicity, orientation, priorities, values, talents, etc. So youth who are not fitting what that dominant culture is within the school. And again, these are just common factors associated with increased vulnerability. Not every youth who falls under any of these categories is a victim of bullying. And it's important that we do take note of these risks of youth, but also knowing what we talked about before, how we define bullying and connecting those together. And then you can go to the next slide. And now that we know all of this, we can now talk about what the best practices are to bullying. So common mistakes that we do see within schools is for bullying prevention is zero tolerance policies, that peer-to-peer counseling, a lack of long-term, oops, you can go back, the lack of long-term solutions, the misunderstanding between how bullying and suicide are connected. um, it is important that we understand that a lot of these current implementations are very harmful for the victim because it places the bully and the victim within the same room. And this is something that the bully wants to retain that power and enjoyment over that victim's reactions. So how can we prevent bullying as adults? If you can go forward for me, please. So it's by creating safe spaces. And what do I mean by that? If you can hit that forward for me. So we can be role models. So um, really, really being in that position where the youth can look up to us to see what they can do. Um, Going out of our ways to encourage other youth for what their talents are, going kind of against what that dominant culture is. If you can go forward for me too, by valuing the diverse contributions of staff and kids. So again, acknowledging what other people, whether they're adults or other youth, have been doing within the school. If you can go forward, please. Commuting for the procedures and behavioral expectations. So taking the chance to read what your schools or districts procedures and policies are on bullying prevention. You can go forward, please. Again, knowing anti-bullying policies and procedures. So knowing it, so if a student does come up to you and talks to you and says, hey, I'm being bullied, being able to appropriately respond to them. And then one more, and being able to foster relationship and social emotional skills. So things such as one, taking this presentation and taking it to heart so we know, but also being able to really talk and become that trusted adult for youth, kind of that person that they can tell you what's going on in their lives so that they know that not only are you their support, are you their supporter, but that you also have their back. I like to throw out that Arizona has two different laws where we do how we counter bullying, where it's ASRS 341, which outlines that the districts do need to have an anti-bullying policy written within their policies and procedures, and ASRS 2916, which outlines cyberbullying. And I highly suggest that you take the time to read through them because it is important for us as adults to know so we're able to help the youth. And another thing too is having that good communication between the students that you work with, the parents of the students, and also your fellow staff members. We lead by example. And just a food for thought because we all work with youth in some way, form. We have maybe have kids, but just think, what do you know about either the schools that you work for, your children's schools? What do you know about that policy and procedure when it does come to bullying? How does the school or the district handle bullying when it is brought up to them? And you can go on to the next. And some resources. So again, we have some resources if you want to hit that slide for me. These are all really good resources. The Trevor Project, Arizona Health Services, us at the Pima County Health Department, 988 CDC, Pima Helpline, Stump Out Bullying, Must Stop Bullying, and Pacers. All really good resources when it comes to how we can combat bullying. And if there's any on here that if there's one on here that's not listed and you think it's a really good resource for us to know, feel free to drop it in the chat and we will gladly look into it. And then get that next slide for me, please. And here is our contact information for our program. Again, I am Tiana and my email's on there. We do have presentations for both adults and youth that kind of go into more detail on that bullying prevention that I might not have covered here. And then the next slide. And then this is just our acknowledgement slide that we are partially funded by the Bureau of Women and Children's Health of Arizona Department of Health Services. And that is it for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiana. That was a very wonderful presentation with so many resources there to obtain. And again, like Tiana said, if there's something that we didn't see or didn't cover on there, please put that in the chat and we could probably include that there. All right, so we're going to go on to our next presenter here. There's also some references slide there as well. Okay, so we have a youth health action team member, Edgar Sepulveda. Edgar, you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, perfect.
My camera isn't working, so I'm sorry about that. But
no problem.
Okay,
please take it away.
Okay, so my name is Edgar Sepulveda, and I'm here to talk about the Youth Health Action Team, or YHAT for short. Next up. Okay, so I recently graduated college with a major in psychology and public health. I joined YHAT in September of last year, and I recently got a job as a community health worker in January, working as on tobacco cessation, and I will be graduating from YHAT in April, or well, later on this month. Next slide. So the Youth Health Action Team is a collaboration between the Pima County Health Department and the Pima County Libraries. It's a youth-based coalition that focuses on improving mental health in the county and improving mental health awareness for youth and other kids in schools and online. The goal is to spread awareness of the is to spread awareness of health in general and help youth develop skills that could lead them to future careers in the health field. Some requirements to join are that you must be between the ages of 14 and 24 years old, be living in Pima County, and it would help that if you're interested in mental health and advocacy, that would be good to have. Slide. And the way that YHAT is set up is there's different committees. There's the outreach, and the outreach, which does some of the community. They do tabling. They spread they do more hands-on stuff in the community. And then there's the communications team, which does a podcast, which I'll get into more later. We do some posters, and in the center of that is the YEB, or the Youth Executive Board. What the YEB is there's 3 people that basically run YHAT, and they go to meetings and they coordinate with a lot of the adult supervisors, and they can get paid. I'm not sure how much they get paid exactly, but I think they get paid pretty well for about 2 hours a week, if I believe correctly. So being in the YEB is a very good opportunity for people who are in the youth. Next slide. So some current projects that YHAT is working on is there's a podcast which you can submit, or a youth can submit something that they would want to share. It can be stories, it can be poems, it can be songs, and White Hat will talk about it and they'll promote it on our YouTube. And I think it's pretty good. They have some videos I've that I've liked. Right now, another big project that I'm currently working on is the substance use prevention toolkit. Or so we're trying to promote naloxone naloxone use in Pima County because drug overdoses are very high. So tomorrow we have the Youth Mental Health Summit, which is a big gathering of many vendors and many youth in the area, and they're going to have a stand that teaches people how to use naloxone how to how to promote how to promote using it safely. Kavina put the link in the chat, which I think if you were curious of looking at that. Next slide. Uh, So some individual effects of white hat, some benefits to the youth would be it's a welcoming space to engage in your community. You can make new friends. I know the kids over there are they're pretty nice. They're very friendly people and they love to tell you and they'd love to meet you. Um, it's very great for internships and job opportunities. For me, I know when I got hired, they specifically said that they really liked white hat and it got me a job. So I think it's a very good plus to have on your resume. Like I said, the is a paid position, so you would get paid for your work here in the county, which is very good. Um, your ideas could your ideas could have an impact on the community and the direction that White Hat is going. Um, it moves boosts your mental and physical well-being, and there's incentives for program completion. I know if you graduate, you get, I believe it's $100 Amazon gift cards. So if you that would get a couple more kids to join. Next slide. So some ways that Y Hat affected me personally is that it gave me a preview of public health. This was the most hands-on experience I had throughout my education, and it helped me decide on my career path. I, it, yeah, it helped me get started. It helped me make connections because of my connections with meeting Kavina and meeting some of the other youth and schools team at Pima County. It's made my current job a lot easier, and I don't know where I'd be without it. And I think it has given me information as well to improve my mental health. And I'm sure it's helped a lot of people improve their mental health as well. So I think, yeah, been very good. All right, here's the interest form. If anyone would like to scan it and share it with anyone who might be interested, you can go ahead and scan it. And I believe these slides will be shared with everyone in case you miss it or you would want to send it to someone else. Here's the resource. Here's the interest form. All right, and recruitment flyers go out on May 1st. If you have any questions, there's my email and there's Kavina's email. In case you wanted to know more, feel free to reach out to us for any reason.
All right, thank you so much for that presentation, Edgar. We're so very excited for tomorrow's summit, and you've done a great job. And definitely, we will be sharing the slides on our newsletter. We do share a recording that we are recording now, as well as PowerPoint slides. So yes, you can go back there and review them. All right, so we have our next presenter. We have Raquel Goodrich. She's the CEO of Text Talk Act. Raquel, are you on?
I am. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and talk about our program. If I can have the next slide, please, John. Actually, go forward one more. So just a little bit about us. We were originally developed at the University of Arizona in partnership with SAMHSA. And at the time, the federal government was looking for a better way to engage youth around mental health. So therefore, our organization was born. We now have a variety of mental health activities that we can bring into the schools. All of our programs are available through generous grant funding through the Pima County Health Department's Not Alone program. We get funding through Arizona Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation and Arizona Complete Health. So everything that I'm going to talk to you about today is free to schools in terms of if it's something that you would be interested in having us come in to do. To date, we have had over 350,000 participants in our programs. Next slide, please. And so we tackle a variety of mental health and mental health related issues in our workshops when we come into the schools. We make everything very interactive. So it's not a presentation. We're not coming in and just talking to the students. Instead, they are doing hands-on activities. Sometimes we use our text messaging platform for younger audiences. We have different games and different things that helps to keep them fully engaged. One of the things that has worked as a really successful model, especially when we're talking about mental health, is allowing the students to engage in peer-to-peer conversations. So it takes us, the facilitator and the adults, out of the conversation and gives them a safe space to have a facilitated conversation about how can they take care of their mental health and who would they turn to if they needed to reach out. Next slide, please. So our curriculum is currently designed for 4th through 12th grade students. The way that this has been put together is each year really builds upon the previous year. And we try to hit some important topics based on the youth development. So I was so excited to hear Tiana's presentation. We have something called Text Talk Upstander, and that is our bullying prevention workshop. We start that as early as 4th grade. In the bullying prevention workshop, they're going to learn the difference between conflict and bullying. They learn the definition of what is bullying. And then they learn the best ways that research has showed us to help to stop bullying. So when we go in, we really work on how can you go from being a bystander and watching the bullying happening to becoming an upstander and helping to stop the bullying, to help to disrupt that that power play that the student is trying to give. We talk about in-person bullying, we talk about cyberbullying, and then the students actually will role play to practice what they would say if they saw bullying happening. We want to make sure that it's real world and that they then have skills so that they feel confident coming out of it, knowing what to do if they see bullying. And then 5th grade, that's where they get our first mental health lesson. We really focus on coping strategies that students can use. They get workbooks that they can take home with them. 6th grade, we build again on the bullying prevention. 7th grade, we introduce social media safety. This is one of our newest workshops. It's come as a result of just all of the schools and everything that they have been struggling with when things are happening online, and then it's coming into the schools. And so with the social media safety, we tackle cyberbullying. We talk about how we can keep our information private. We talk about their digital footprint and its potential impact on their future. And we also talk about what the latest research is sharing about mental health and social media so that students can be fully informed as they decide to engage in the online spaces. 8th grade, we come back with another mental health lesson that builds on the previous one. 9th grade, again, we're building on that social media safety. 10th grade, we do a drug prevention workshop. 11th grade is the final mental health workshop. And then for 12th grade, we're doing a lot of these right now. We go in with the seniors and we do a workshop that helps to prepare them emotionally for the transition year out of high school. So they get a chance to really talk about like, what are their plans over this next year? And then what are some of the things that they might not have thought about that they could prepare for, right? All of the transition things, being on their own, being in a new place, trying to make new friends. And so that is the last workshop that is given to the 4th through 12th grade. Next slide, please. A new thing that we are going to be unrolling this year, this next school year, that will be on a first come, first serve, are these Calm Down Corner kits. So this will be rolled out for kindergarten through fifth grade, and we will work with the teachers to help them to create a calm down sensory corner, where if the student is feeling overwhelmed or feeling some uncomfortable emotions, they can take a break, go to the corner for a couple of minutes, identify how they feel, and then they're given 3 different activities that they can work their way through. And then at that point, they return back to their desk. So we'll be doing some research on this to see if it does help with mitigating disruptive behaviors in the classroom. We're hoping that this can be an additional tool that teachers can use to help to keep kids focused while also providing them with social emotional support. Next slide, please. And another fun thing that we do is we have a trained therapy dog that's available to come into your school. So this is Pebbles. She's a 4-year-old golden doodle. And in the past, what we've done is come into schools either with the school counselor or the behavioral health specialist. The school chooses different students that they feel would benefit from the therapy dog. And then once a week, they get to come in and just have a 5 to 10-minute session where they get to pet and play with the dog. This is my favorite part of my job. Because I love seeing the kids' faces light up. We've had so many say this is my favorite part of the week when they get to be with Pebbles. So again, this is something that we're going to be expanding. Again, it will be on a first come first serve basis in terms of available grant funding. Next slide. And then we do offer staff workshops. These work really well for PDs. The one that we offer right now is called Supporting the Emotional Needs of Your Students. And it really helps teachers and faculty to help to recognize kind of what are some of the warning signs of some of the more prevalent mental health challenges, and then what can teachers do to help to support the emotional needs of those students. Next slide. And then finally, we also offer parenting workshops. Our most popular one is called Parenting in the Digital Age. That one we have had success with getting parents to come out. We talk about social media, we talk about cell phones, we talk about all the research around mental health, and what age is it appropriate to introduce these tools to their students. We also give them information on the different social media platforms. So as a parent, if you allow your child to have TikTok, what are the things that you should be doing to set for the privacy settings and things that you should be looking for to help to make sure that you're keeping your child safe. This coming year, we're also going to be looking to pilot at a couple of schools, if any of you are interested, where instead of hosting workshops with parents, we instead use our text messaging platform, where parents then opt in, and then every other week they get an informational text from the school. So we can do different tidbits around mental health, supporting their students. We can do them on social media, family mealtime, all the different things. But it's a way to kind of give them little bite-sized pieces delivered to their phone at good times for them to be able to kind of check it and to be able to engage with the school. We'll also be looking to do some more of the back and forth engagement, so we can poll parents to see what is it that they'd most be interested in. And so right now we have one school that is willing to partner with us on a pilot. We're looking for a couple more schools to do that in the coming year. Next slide. And then finally, our programs are evidence-based and informed. They have all been studied and created. The workshops have been created by experts in each of the individual fields. My favorite statistic from this is that, especially with the mental health, we have seen a statistically significant increase in the comfort level of students in talking and reaching out for help when it comes to mental health. So just by doing our 50-minute to 1-hour workshop, we're able to give students the information and help to make them feel more comfortable for them to reach out. Next slide. And this is just my contact information. If any of this was of interest to you and you'd like to talk about how we might be able to bring it to your school, I'll also put my email in the chat so that it's readily available. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raquel, for that very well informative resources. Your program's doing really well. And please, anybody on the call here, if you want any information, Raquel's putting her information in the chat and you can get a hold of her and hopefully get one of those programs at your school. Okay, so Raquel and her team are the last program presenters today. Anybody have any questions? You can please put those in the chat. Any questions for any of the presenters that we had today? Also, you can always contact us here at the pima.gov/healthy schools. You could give us a call at 520-2724-7018 or email directly schoolsupport@pima.gov. And I'll just wait a little bit here on the call if anybody has any questions. If you do not, hope you have a lovely Wednesday afternoon. And thank you again for coming and showing up here on this April 1st Fool's Day school health update meeting. We will have one more in May, and that will conclude our school health updates for the year. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you for joining. And I will stop recording.